Okay, hi everyone. We're currently just setting up the owl, but today we're going to be covering DocuSign 101. And essentially, this is what's going to be taking place of dot loop. So these are where your transactions are going to be, and we're going to show you how to do so through command so that the transition is kind of just seamless. And we're not saying that green sheets are permanently going away, but this is where we're going to be, this is where commissions are going to be submitted through. So everything compliance, commission, that will all be through DocuSign and command. So we're just going to wait. Oh, here we are. There we go. I was like, I don't want to, and yeah, they're still there.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta mute myself. Ooh. Okay. All right, can everybody hear us?
Yes.
You have this crazy echo.
Because my computer's probably right here.
Yeah, turn your volume down. There you go. All right. All right, everybody's good? Everybody can hear us?
No echoing?
No echo?
Yeah, we
No.
can hear you. Okay.
All right. Let me share my screen.
Oh, wait, let me do
Oh, yeah, we got a big vehicle.
There we go.
Da-da-da. Here, share screen. And let's go back. All right, you want to drive a little bit, Christina?
Okay, so like I had said, we're gonna be going over DocuSign today. So first things first, we're gonna be going over DocuSign through command. We don't want to show you how to get to DocuSign by just going to DocuSign.com. So before we really just, hit the road, we're gonna start logging into command. And again, it's gonna be the same usernames and passwords that you have for MyKW if you're logging in that way. So once we log in, we're just gonna double check that our DocuSign account has been connected, and Scott Leroy's pretty good with that. So where we're gonna be going is we're gonna click our name in the top right-hand corner, and we're gonna click that drop-down menu. So then once we click that, we're gonna go to settings. And what it brings you to is a page that shows you all of your connected applications. So DocuSign and .loop should be one of the first two. And then right underneath where it says current status, it would tell you if your account has either been connected or if you need to connect the account. Just double check that the account has been connected, and then we'll get started. But any questions on how to actually connect the account?
For all new agents, DocuSign has already, Scott Leroy has already done it for all new agents, so you shouldn't have to. But for any agents that's been here before probably December, you would have to connect.
Okay. So after your account has been connected, one thing that we do want to mention is in order for an opportunity and everything to kind of go together with DocuSign, we want to mention that everything essentially starts within the contact section of command. So before an opportunity can be created, you need that client to be uploaded to your database. Do we want to show them how to upload? Just to go to the contact section?
Yeah, so let's go over to contacts. And you're simply just adding a new contact. So once you meet a new client, you should be putting them in here. Talk amongst yourself.
Do we have to make an opportunity as well?
I'm sorry?
Do we have to make an opportunity as well?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. So this is the first step in starting an opportunity and then going into DocuSign. So the first step is making sure that you have your client in your contacts.
All right, jumping ahead.
My keyboard not typing. Oh, because it's a phone number. Sorry. Thanks, Karen.
He has no idea what's going on.
I always call Karen out.
What did I do? What did I do?
Nothing at all. All right, get this thing out of the way, create. Let's see. All right, so if you already have that email address in the system, it's not gonna, so let me find an email address that I haven't put in the system. There you go. Create. Oh, really? The phone number. All right, we're gonna take out the phone number for right now.
Okay.
So the system makes sure duplicates. That's a very important thing for CRMs, not to have duplicates.
So now that the contact has been uploaded to your database, from here, we're going to be going to the contact's name. And then over on the right-hand side of the contact's card, we're currently under the timeline tab. Where we would want to be going is the opportunities tab. So it's right next to it. And then down at the bottom or on top where it says create opportunity, we're going to click that plus button. And this is where you're creating an opportunity. So again, if you're a part of a team, you have the option to select your team name, but if you're a solo or an individual agent, everything is kind of just defaulted as is. The client or the opportunity type, you select if it's a listing or if you are the buyer agent, landlord, tenant, but for the most part, it'll be listing or buyer. And then once you get to the client, this is where it has their name. And if there's a relationship attached to the client, you can go in and type them in as well, so long as they're in your database. The buyer name, we suggest leaving as is, but also adding the property address at the end of it because it makes it a lot easier for the compliance side of things. If we keep scrolling down, anything with a red asterisk means that we need to fill it in before moving on. So this is where you'll fill in your commission rate, the opportunity phase, as well as the opportunity stage. So let's say that you want to do negotiations?
Yeah.
All right, so currently there's some negotiations, some offers. So then once everything's been plugged in, we'll click create. So now you see that your opportunity's been created. So we'll click on that. And what this does is it brings you to your opportunity now. So you can see the client's information under the general info section. And then on the right-hand side, up at the top, it gives the property information. So if you were to go in and pencil this in, you can select everything. So again, choose the country, write in the address.
There is a 123 Main Street in almost every town.
Make sure everything's correct. So we'll save that. And the opportunity's been updated. So sometimes if you actually add a property, an actual address to the opportunity, where it says buyer, there should be an option where you can select a listing. But in this case, we just kind of skip over that. So from here, where we want to go is the Documents tab. So 2 over from Details, we'll click Documents. This might look familiar to some, where it says Start a Transaction all the way to the right-hand side of the screen. We'll click that drop-down menu. And instead of choosing .loop, we're going to be choosing DocuSign. So after choosing DocuSign, it brings you to putting your username and password in. So Kevin will put the email address in. And a lot of times it'll be two-factor authentication. So it'll either send a verification code. In this case, it'll probably send it to his phone number. Sometimes it's through email.
Every time, doesn't it?
If you don't log into the system for a couple of hours, or like if you do it like once a day, it'll send a verification code.
Security is very important with this.
So after the code's been put in and you successfully log in, it brings you to what's called a room. So this is essentially like a personal online file for the transaction. Does their nerds number come up?
Oh, if you log in and it pops up that you need your NERDS number, there'll be some instructions on there as well. So in order for you to pull some of the forms, because DocuSign has agreements with all the MLSs, so you must have a NERDS number in order to pull the forms from from the state and from all the MLSs. It will have some instructions. So if you are going to add documents, or if you drop into a room and it pops up, just follow the instructions on that. Does anybody has that pop up yet for them? All right.
Perfect.
So I think we should be good. Let's add some documents and then we'll go back to details.
Okay, so from here, like I said, it's going to bring you to the room, and under the tab that we're in right now, it's documents. So if we go to click add at the top, we're going to select DocuSign forms. So now what it's going to say is you can either select DocuSign forms from a library or from a group. We're currently under groups, but if you needed to go under where it says libraries, those would be like the MLS forms. So for this case, since it's just transaction, we're going to be under the groups tab. So very similar to what we were filling out before under the opportunity section, where it says, is this a listing? Is this a buyer? Is this a rental or a landlord? So in this case, if we were doing this for a buyer, we're going to be going to the purchasing. And luckily for you guys, we have, as a market center, selected all the documents that you need and or are required for this. So those documents will be pre-selected. And then in any given case, like if you needed an addendum, this is where you would go in and check those documents off as well. So then once you have all of those documents selected, we'll click add selected down at the bottom. And those documents will then drop into the room. Okay. So do we want to go to details now?
Yeah, let's go over to details.
Okay, so now that those documents have been dropped in, we're going to go to the details.
Ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
Hi, so I noticed the lead-based paint document got downloaded. What if you don't need that for a particular home? Let's say it was built in 2000s. How do you delete a form that you don't need, or do you just leave it alone?
You can go right ahead and delete it. So you can go and choose right here, and delete option is right here.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we'll go back to the details tab, which is right next to documents. And then this is where you could fill all of that information out. So let's say that you did know who the seller was. You can go in and then fill in all of their information. So once you click edit, it will give you that option. So you can type in the seller's name. Feel creative.
It's better than the usual our
Text
trainings
account.
of Mickey Mouse and.
Yep.
I'll do that next time.
Okay,
We'll do the cartoon
Make it
characters
fun.
next time. All right, fine. Next time.
Okay, so Kevin's filling in all those fields. Again, if you knew everything else here, if you knew who the listing agent was, since you are the buyer agent, luckily all of the information from your white pages pulls over. So if you keep scrolling all the way down, it will say Kevin's name, it'll give Kevin's contact information.
Oh,
Oh, that's buyer.
yeah, there we go.
So yeah, it'll give Kevin's name, it'll give the business phone, it'll give Kevin's email, the company, our brokerage address. So again, that all pulls from the white pages, so you don't have to fill that certain section out.
Let's go back up.
And then over on the left-hand side, under where it says location, this is where you can type in the address. So this is where you put 123 Main Street, the actual city or town.
I don't remember what I put in the
I
other.
think you put
thing.
Edison.
It was Edison, right?
Yeah.
Go. I don't know what the zip
I
was.
don't know either. So yeah, once you have all this information out, in addition to the location, you can put in the offer details down the road, but again, we don't need to do this right away. And luckily, with the details tab, once this information has all been filled in and completed, it speaks with the documents or the forms that you dropped into your room, so that then syncs over to those documents and you don't need to fill that out as well. So any questions on that?
So is the clue, the more you enter here, the details, the more perfected your documents will be?
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
And vice versa. So if you were to do this from a document also, so say that you were filling out a seller's disclosure under the documents tab, if you then fill everything out there, so same thing, property address, seller information, buyer, and listing agent, that information will then feed to the details section in DocuSign. So any questions on anything that we've covered thus far? Okay, awesome. So we'll go into a document. We'll probably just do like a fake signing so that you guys can then figure out how you then send these forms out for signature. So let's do, which one do you want to select?
Go with that.
All right, we'll select the addendum to listing agreement.
Well, two places you can do a change. You can do a change when you make envelope, or you can do changes here as well. So once you make an envelope, it'll send all the data over. So actually, let me close out of this because we want to do an envelope. All right, so actually, go back.
Is an envelope like a folder?
Yes, the envelope, yeah, like a folder, pretty much same concept of putting something in the envelope and mailing it. So, so you're gonna create that.
Where?
Oh, sorry. Let's go back really quick.
So under the documents tab, there's a couple different ways in which you can actually create an envelope. So if you select the document and then at the top, there's a bulk list. Right in the middle, it looks like a pen. You'll click create envelope. And then you can change what the envelope name is. So if you wanted to change it from please DocuSign to something else, it is customizable. So in this case, we're only sending out the listing agreement. So we would write please sign our DocuSign listing agreement. And then it'll show you the actual documents that you're currently sending either within the envelope. So if it was more than one, it would show you the other documents. But in this case, since we've only selected the addendum to listing agreement, that's the only one that's showing us. So if we keep scrolling down, this is where we actually add the recipients. And what we always want to select is pre-tagged roles. So from here, it's going to say seller 1 or seller 2 needs to sign. So we'll select them, and then on the right-hand side, this drop-down menu actually selects their like email address or
Yeah,
What do you
so
wanna
if you
call it?
had, I'm mixing this up because I chose the listing, but either way, if you did choose the fire one, it'll be right here. It'll pull over, so you can choose that. If you did not have anybody that you sent in here or put in, you can always put them in as well. So that's with choosing the role that you set to start with. And that'll auto populate. And then you can also add them in right here as well.
So now that we've added the recipients, we have a couple of different things which we can do. So if, let's say, buyer or seller one needs to sign, it automatically defaults to needs to sign. However, if this was someone who doesn't need to do anything, they just simply need to review the documents or receive a copy, we would then select, oh, we're changing it up here.
No, I was trying to see if there isn't another role.
Oh, okay. So where it says needs to sign, we would select that drop down menu. And then if they don't need to sign and they only needed a copy, it then would only send out to either buyer or seller one where they don't have a choice to sign, they would just view the document. And then if we click on more next to needs to sign, you can also, if this was a private document, add access authentication. Or if you needed to, again, add like a little comment, you can write a private message as well. So that's a couple different things in addition. And then down at the bottom where it says message to all recipients, the email subject will still be please DocuSign. If you needed to write out your email, this is where you would type that out. So we're selecting or typing sign please. And then what we would, we're really not getting creative here, people. Sorry about that.
It's a terrible number.
Yeah, so once we've filled all of this out, we've sent and attached the forms that we need to within the envelope, we've selected the recipients, we'll click next at the top. And whenever it wants to load. Okay. So this is where you can then preview. Yeah, I don't think we
This
saved.
was the addendum thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't save it the way I should.
Yeah. So the reason that everything like isn't filling out is because we didn't save and close. So always make sure to save those changes or else they won't show up.
Yeah.
But you will see where either the seller or the buyer needs to sign, and it will also have the date as well. So on the left-hand side, it'll show you the standard field. So it'll show the signature, as well as, I believe, some checkboxes if you need to add those as well. So let's say that you need to put a checkbox somewhere in a document. You would just drag and drop that over. So I believe this would apply for like if the pre-tag goes for a seller's disclosure, you wouldn't want to go in and then add, or I'm just kind of rambling at this point.
No, yes, so yes,
I'm
seller's
like, no,
disclosure.
I don't make sense.
Seller's disclosure will have all the roles set already. So actually, you don't have to put in the checkbox there, but yes, yeah, I get your, yes.
Yeah. So if there was somewhere on the document that you needed to have a checkbox or a radio box, you would drag and drop that over, and then the person would be able to fill that out electronically.
And then for everyone, the difference between a checkbox and a radio box is a checkbox, you can check pretty much everything on a list, and a radio box is a selection between two items, yes or no type of selection.
Yeah. Anything else that we should cover for the left-hand side?
If you, let's see, if you wanted to put a note on here, you can put a note on here. The rest of this, we don't really need to worry about.
Kind of crossing out.
Crossing out to strike through. So there's
So
you can
you
either
can
do
draw.
drawing, or I think if you select the pencil icon, the pre-filled,
That wasn't-
or was it custom fields?
Might be custom fields. I'm forgetting where it is, but yeah. Nope.
The line one, I think at the bottom, no? Like selecting notes, is that like dragging like a text box to a section that you
Yeah.
can reform in?
Yeah, it'll just be a note. It's not really a part of the document, but it's a layer on top of the document in case you need
Oh,
it.
so it doesn't affix to the document?
Nah, it's only for your client.
A line, you just use the line, or actually there's something different where it says.
There was a strike through option.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that strike through. Where did you say it was? I'm sorry.
So
under
look at the far left, that
Pre-built
line,
tools,
the far left, see right there,
Pencil.
isn't that it?
it has a line.
Yeah, line.
Okay, yeah, you
there
can
it
use
is.
line if you wanted to.
I could use that a lot.
Yeah, line.
Yeah.
Cross out thing.
But they actually did have a strikeout option. Not sure why
Did they?
I'm not seeing it, but yes.
So yeah, there was a part on a document where something wasn't necessary and you kind of just wanted to cross it off. You can use the line and position it to where it would either strike through the sentence, or you can either create an X over a certain part so that the seller or buyer, whoever's receiving the document, doesn't need to worry about it.
All right.
How would you add text to a document? Like, I'm thinking like the sales contract, sometimes you have that section at the back where the things are excluded or included. How would you add that type of a note that you do want on the document?
So yes, when you needed to add that, you can just add in text right here. And then put whatever you needed to put, you know.
Okay.
So. But you do have the option to add in the text box, yes.
When you put the text box in, you go to the right-hand side and you type in that box out into the yellow.
Yeah,
The
you
side.
type in, yeah, the box on the side, yes.
Okay, so let's say that all signatures have been assigned. So you can actually preview what the recipient's getting. So at the top of the screen where it says send and then recipient preview, we'll click that.
Recipient.
Yeah. So that when they get this in their inbox, it will show them, if they keep scrolling down, this is where their signature needs to be. And then also if there was a text that, you know, something like Lisa was saying, if something came up on a document and they wanted to include that, they would be able to see that. So if all signatures are good to go, you like what it looks like, you would click send. And then it will tell you that the document is currently waiting to be signed by others. So blue is waiting for others. Gray is it's currently a draft, so nothing has been sent out yet. It's not finalized. And then once it's green, it will tell you that the document has been signed. Also at the bottom, it will show you how many documents are within the envelope. And then that little like character icon will show you how many people need to sign the document as well. So any questions on anything that we've covered to this point?
Can you download things as PDFs from DocuSign?
Yes. Not empty forms though. You have to at least, because of some of the agreements that DocuSign has with the MLSs, some of them don't allow a blank form for some reason to be downloaded. So you at least have to put the address or something on those forms, and then turn it into a PDF and you can download it, yes.
Got it. And do you guys find that this auto populates better than .loop or worse?
Better, because all the fields are the same. So once you change something in that details field, it always stays the same all the time for all the forms.
Got it.
Okay, so Kevin's in the midst of signing this document so that we can then show you what we can do afterwards. I do want to go over how you can create a folder within your documents room, because at times we understand that things can get a little messy in there. So what we can do is go back to the documents tab. And then from here, we would just click actions at the top. and we would go down to where it says add folder. So in this case, if this is a folder in which you wanted to separate all of your signed documents, we can name the folder as signed docs.
Oh, look, I did this before. Yay.
We'll click create. And then it will currently tell you you have 0 signed documents in this folder. So if you ever wanted to move the documents from where your room docs are right now, you can either drag it and drop them, or what you can do is select the circle in the top left-hand corner so that you move more than one document at a time. So let's say that you wanted to move 2 of these documents to your signed documents folder. Where you would go is again that bulk tag at the top, right under where it says history, and you'll click the move button. It'll then ask you where you want to select the original destination from. So it'll say where your current documents are right now, which is your room docs.
Oops, I'm sorry. Come on. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. And then you'll select where you want them to be moved to. So in this case, we'll move them to signed docs, and it'll tell you, okay, so both the addendum and the listing agreement are now under the signed documents folder. So instead of having all of your forms and your signed documents together, this is a way in which you can kind of clean up that room. Okay, so Kevin has now signed the form. So like you can see, it'll say sign at the bottom right-hand corner. So we'll drag it and drop it to the signed documents folder.
Hey, Christina?
Yep.
I'm a little confused because as a document gets signed, it automatically goes to the signed docs out of the room, correct?
No, so the rooms doc is a root folder. So everything comes back into a root folder. sign-
Ah,
Something that we created just for organization, yes.
gotcha. So the signed docs, see, I thought they were getting auto-populated as they were getting signed, but that's not the case, correct?
No, I just happened to name it that way. I could have named it.
Oh, okay. Okay,
It doesn't mean anything. It's just for you.
gotcha. Thanks.
So what else do we want to cover within DocuSign?
Any other questions first?
What's the difference between an envelope and a folder?
So envelopes are what you're essentially sending out to people, whereas
You have to create an envelope to send something.
correct. Yeah, whereas with a folder, you're
It's
just like,
organization.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's more so for your viewing.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, answer that question folder because I have old fashioned vanilla folder in my head. Sorry. I've been around too long. All right, I think we are good on this portion of just the basic of getting the documents sent out and coming back and then organizing yourself. There's a lot more to this, but this is the one-on-one version.
No,
so
this
we're
is very,
keeping it as
very
simple
granular.
as we can.
Okay, so now that we have everything, or in this case, quote unquote, everything signed, where we're gonna be going back to is command and the opportunities.
So
That's
we
okay.
Go back.
So as Kevin logs back into command,
Oh, wait, never mind. Wrong
Or
button.
you just head to your tab, right?
Yeah, no, I was on,
Yeah.
I'm on remote, I'm
Yeah.
on remote on too many things. So. There we go.
okay, so we'll go back to the opportunity section. So we have all the documents. Over on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, sorry, you can click sync transaction.
Wait, what?
In command,
Yeah.
under documents, once you click sync transaction over on the right.
In the opportunity that we created.
Under documents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. We're all good to go. Okay. So once we click that, again, they're in talks with each other, so we'll get back to that in a minute. But where it says pick checklist type on the left-hand side, this is where it'll ask you what type of transaction it is. So if this was a commercial purchase, referral, but in this case, it's a residential purchase, we'll click on residential. And again, on the back end, so what the Market Center has done is we have gone in and we have checked off all the required documents you need throughout the sales pipeline. So in this case, should say, not consultation, but what's the word?
For part, I'm sorry.
First start. Like my head's not. thinking right now.
Well, yeah, I think, yeah, but.
Whatever it is,
Under contract.
yeah, so it'll tell you if this was in the beginning, if it was under contract, all the documents that you need for closed. So again, you can see the requirements where things are required. If not, it would say either optional or conditionally required. And then over on the right-hand side, this is where you can add those files. So let's say, for example, we need to add, let's go back to consultation. Or wait, we'll be doing negotiations.
We were in negotiations.
Okay, so-
we would do the under contract.
Yeah, so if we're under contract right now and we're filling out or uploading forms, because we're currently under contract, let's see if we can go in and add the transaction form. So over on the right-hand side, this is where you can select add a file. And then it's going to ask where you want to select the file from. So in that case, we'll select DocuSign. And now all the documents that were in what's called your root folder will show up. So it'll say that you have all of these different documents. And then if you keep scrolling down, it will then tell you all of the documents that have been signed. So since Kevin has only signed one document, it says addendum to listing agreement -signed, meaning that all parties involved who this was sent out to have signed it. So we'll select it. We'll then click assign. And now this document has been uploaded to command. So that's one way of just uploading one file. Let's say that you wanted to upload multiple. We would click attach multiple files up at the top. Same thing, we're going to select DocuSign. And then we'll select the drop-down menu. And whatever document is signed and you wanted to fill out here, this is where we would find that document in our folder. So this is where we can upload, let's say, 2 documents. And then once we have attached all of those, we would click attach down at the bottom. So now all of those documents that you've selected from DocuSign, you'll see on the right-hand side have been uploaded. So then the last thing would just be clicking submit to Market Center. So it's just going to say, do you want to submit this for review? And then once you click submit, Kieran, Lisa, and Allison will be able to then see your not folders, your files
Compliance request, yes.
for compliance requests. And then on the left-hand side, you are able to see that the documents have been submitted. Any questions?
If the alert comes up as a rooms notification, or does it say compliance review? Do you know what the message looks like?
We figured that out. It was, oh, did we think if it was through an email?
For compliance to the, yeah, I think you're not getting it through rooms, you're
I
getting it
think I
through.
have an email.
I believe through an email, yes.
So yeah, once those have been uploaded, under where it says status, it will either say approved or rejected or returned. And then either Kieran or Lisa or whoever's looking at the files can also attach like a comment to say why the file was returned, so that you are able to go back and upload these documents once again if you needed to. So any questions on anything that we've covered today? This is just, again, this is very basic. We are planning on holding other courses so that we can go into DocuSign and Command more. If you guys had any follow-up questions, wanted to know what else you can do in here, etc. Okay, well, if that's the case, you know where me and Kevin are, you know where to find us. You also know our email addresses, so just shoot us an email, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. But thank you guys for coming on. So we look forward to this smooth transition. Yeah,
Thanks, Christina. Thanks, Kevin.
Are welcome.
thanks.